Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving into where are civil liberties and rights protected. This module will focus on the protections afforded by the US Constitution, the role of the Supreme Court, and various checks on power. Understanding these protections is really important for recognizing the balance between individual freedoms and government authority. Let's start with civil liberties themselves, which are the fundamental rights and freedoms guaranteed by the Constitution, particularly the Bill of Rights. These include freedom of speech, religion and the press, the right to a fair trial, and protection against unreasonable searches and seizures. The First Amendment, for instance, is a cornerstone of American democracy, ensuring the free exchange of ideas and opinions. In 1969, the Supreme Court case Tinker versus Des Moines Independent Community School District upheld students' right to free speech in schools, affirming that students do not, quote, shed their constitutional rights to freedom of speech or expression at the schoolhouse gate. The purpose and operation of the Supreme Court are central to protecting these liberties. The Supreme Court interprets the Constitution and reviews the legality of laws and executive actions. It acts as a check on the other branches of government, ensuring that laws and policies do not violate constitutional rights. Consider the landmark case of Miranda versus Arizona in 1966, which established what we call Miranda rights, requiring police to inform suspects of their rights during arrest and interrogation. This decision reinforced the Fifth Amendment's protection against self-incrimination and the Sixth Amendment's right to legal counsel. Civil liberties are often tested during times of crisis. During World War II, President Franklin D. Roosevelt authorized the internment of Americans of Japanese descent through Executive Order 9066. The Supreme Court upheld this decision in Korematsu versus United States, 1944 case, a ruling that has since been heavily criticized and partially overturned. This case highlights the tension between national security and individual rights, illustrating the importance of judicial oversight in maintaining constitutional protections. Now let's discuss issues of power and the checks and balances system itself. The US government is structured to prevent any one branch from becoming too powerful. The executive, legislative, and judicial branches each have distinct powers and responsibilities, with mechanisms in place to check each other. For example, the president can veto legislation, but Congress can override a veto with 2/3 majority. The Supreme Court can declare laws unconstitutional, but justices are appointed by the president and confirmed by the Senate. The impeachment and removal process is another check on executive power and also judicial power. Impeachment allows Congress to remove a sitting president, vice president, or other federal official, including judges and justices, for high crimes and misdemeanors. This process was used in the cases of Presidents Andrew Johnson, Bill Clinton, and Donald Trump, though none were ultimately removed from office. These proceedings demonstrate the constitutional mechanisms available to hold government officials accountable. Amending the Constitution is a powerful but challenging process that allows for significant changes in the legal and political landscape. Since its ratification, the Constitution has been amended 27 times. The rigorous amendment process requires approval by 2/3 of both houses of Congress and ratification by 3/4 of the state legislatures, ensuring that only widely supported changes are adopted. The 19th Amendment, ratified in 1920, granted women the right to vote, a monumental change achieved through decades of activism and advocacy. The concept of a secular republic also is integral to the American political system. The First Amendment's Establishment Clause prohibits the government from establishing an official religion, ensuring the separation of church and state. This principle was reaffirmed in cases like Engel versus Vitale in 1962, where the Supreme Court ruled that mandatory prayer in public schools was unconstitutional. This decision underscored the importance of maintaining religious freedom and preventing government endorsement of religion. The protection of civil liberties extends beyond the courtroom. Social movements and political public advocacy play important roles in defending and expanding constitutional rights. The civil rights movement of the 1950s and 60s, led by figures like Martin Luther King Jr. and Rosa Parks, used nonviolent protests and legal challenges to combat racial segregation and discrimination. Their efforts led to significant legal and social changes, including the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and, very importantly, the Voting Rights Act of 1965. In modern society, organizations like the American Civil Liberties Union, the ACLU, and the Human Rights Campaign continue to advocate for the protection and expansion of civil liberties. They engage in litigation, lobbying, and public education to address issues like LGBTQ rights, voting rights, and freedom of expression. Understanding where civil liberties and rights are protected helps us appreciate the delicate balance between individual freedoms and government power. The Constitution, judicial oversight, and active civic engagement are all vital components in safeguarding these rights. In conclusion today, the protection of civil liberties and rights is a fundamental aspect of American democracy. The Constitution provides the legal framework. The Supreme Court interprets and upholds these protections, and the system of checks and balances ensures that no single branch of government becomes too powerful. Active public advocacy and social movements further reinforce these protections. They highlight the dynamic and evolving nature of civil liberties in the United States, which are vital to American democracy. So next time, we'll explore why the U.S. government operates the way that it does. We'll see you then.